covering real estate, brought to you by the Brampton Real Estate Board. I'm your host, Sarabjit Rana. And if you've just joined us, then I got to tell you, you're missing out on a bit of a conversation because they're all important, but this is really important. And because we're talking today with Laura Leyser, former past president of the Canadian Real Estate Association. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And we're talking about home renos, resale value, and trends. Pretty important things, right? You bought the house.
Very
now
important.
You're thinking about renos and what you need to do.
Absolutely.
To get you to the next
Always
phase of life.
changing.
Yeah, life is a variable constant,
Absolutely.
right? It's always moving on.
It's always evolving.
100%. So we talked about those those scenarios, right? We talked about the deck, buddies came over on the weekend, permits.
No permit.
Get the permit.
Get the permit.
Get the permit.
It's worth it.
Yeah. And if you don't get the permit, if the city doesn't give you the permit, then you got to accept that and don't do it.
Well, you know what I think the biggest thing about the deck was, for example, maybe they knew they wanted to build a deck bigger than what they were going to legally be allowed to build.
Of course.
So maybe that's why they didn't get the permit.
That's right. The plan is already here, but the plan can't.
Go get the permit.
That's right. Get the permit. Get the permit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like this one because this happens a lot. Okay. So I know the wiring is up to code in my house because I am an electrician and I did all the work myself. So you know what? I didn't need to have it inspected because I know how good I am. So I'm good. You're good with that.
I'm so happy that you're so good as an electrician.
I am. I'm brilliant.
Because
I'm brilliant.
You still have to have it certified, just so you know.
So I got to pay extra money to make sure it's certified.
Well, it's not that you're paying extra money. You're paying the money you should have paid to begin with because no matter what, it has to be certified. So yes,
Okay.
you have to have it certified. And even if you're an electrician, you've done it on your own, again, going back to permits, if maybe you've changed out the panel or I'm not an electrician, but oftentimes if somebody's coming in and actually trying to bring in services, like they can't do this. They have to go through the process. They have to contact the municipality. They have to have the right permits, the right everything, and then they have to have a final inspection done on it. And I'm going to tell you, as a realtor, I look for that sticker on the panel box.
You do?
I can tell when there's a new panel box. Absolutely. And when I'm talking new, it could be 5 years young, 7 years young, but I'm going to look for that sticker because oftentimes somebody has a friend that's an electrician, there was a fuse box on it, they put a breaker box on it, didn't even think to get it looked at. I'm going to sell the property down the road. Guess who's going to get the phone call when there's a problem? Especially if somebody didn't have the home inspected before they purchased it. They'll move in and find out, oops, missed that one.
So you know what? That brings me to a question. The home inspection, right? The home inspector comes in. Is there and I realize you're not a home inspector, but from your expertise in the area, there must be a checklist, right? That this home inspector is going to go through and be able to give you a response on every single thing.
Absolutely.
And what happens if they miss something?
Well, funny you mention that because I know.
happens.
Well, I know that the CSA is putting out minimum standards for the home inspection industry across the country right now, so that all home inspectors are going to have to fulfill this minimum requirement. So when you come in and you hire a professional home inspector and they're going through the process, and if they've missed something. As realtors, we have errors and omission insurance. If we've made a mistake, we're liable. You're going to take us to court, and it goes from there. With the home inspection, if there's a problem, they're going to contact the home inspector. They're going to see if they can remedy the issue in any way. But if it's a major problem, then home inspectors also have insurance, and you would have to. I guess you'd have to go after them for it.
Yeah.
It happens. None of us are perfect. We're human.
We're human.
Absolutely.
It happens, right?
It happens.
And sometimes you don't even realize that it might have been missed until after the fact.
Well, because it's not like you can rip the walls down. You know, there's a difference between the home inspection industry missing something and the homeowner not being totally upfront with you. So a homeowner can fill out statements, or they can even verbalize something to us and say, oh no, we've never had water in the basement, or oh no, there's no cracks. But meanwhile, they've finished the entire basement, so they're hiding the cracks that they've had filled, or the mold. So there are things that the home inspectors just can't possibly find. So it's not on their shoulders when you come to those things.
It's funny you say that because there's a scenario for every oh my gosh, right? That
Always.
Takes place. I mean, I was chatting with a friend who just bought a home, and the story was really quite shocking and disturbing. They had a home inspector look at their home, and the shutoff valve in the home, I guess, wasn't either noted or found. They moved in, everything's fine, leak upstairs, and the husband tries to find the shutoff valve and is looking around. You know how husbands can get after not being able to find a shutoff
Frantic.
valve. Frantic, yeah, and can't find the shutoff valve. Could never find the shutoff valve. So people were called in from the city. The shutoff valve outside was shut off, all because when the home inspection took place,
It wasn't brought to their
it wasn't
attention.
brought to their attention.
That's a difficult scenario.
Yeah.
Because really, oftentimes, and this is something else, oftentimes the buyer is not present during the inspection.
I was going to say that.
There are times the buyer maybe won't take the time off work. Who wants to do a home inspection on a property at nighttime? Because
Yeah.
what can you see at nighttime? I don't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes the buyer isn't there. So who's at fault?
Yeah.
You know, because if the home inspector does the booklet and the background information
Yeah.
that he writes in and says, no, well, this is here, this is here, this is here.
Yeah.
I would think that they would locate, but on the other hand, you know, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so long story short, they had to put in a brand new shutoff and get
And
all
call their
kinds of
insurance
help.
company.
And the master plumber and everybody else to put in. But you know, these are things that you don't realize until you've gone through them.
Absolutely.
Until you've been able to experience them, right? Okay. So now that we've done the renos, we're good, and now it's time to buy our next home. We're all excited, right? We're buying our next home. Everything's great. And so, you know, the interest rates they're kind of manageable right now. You know, you've got a promotion at
Very.
work. Yeah, you've got a promotion at work. Everything's good. And so I can go ahead and buy a much larger home, right? Without any issues. So no
Today,
issues,
yes.
right? No issues whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And providing that, and we chatted a little bit about this earlier, there are some changes that are being made in terms of how much you need to put down,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
It's important to recognize
Yep,
that.
you need
right?
to know.
Yeah, gone are the days of just a
5% down across the board. No, that's changed.
yeah, it's changed. And that's why it's important to always ask, right?
You should always, and now mind you, it is a very minimal change. And it depends on the community. So the community in which I reside, you will likely not notice it, but when you're purchasing in the GTA area or something like that, you'll notice it to a certain degree.
It's going to hurt a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so one more question before we go to break, and then this is a shorter one. Actually, no, let's go to break.
Sure.
We'll come back. That's good with you?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go to break, and we'll come right back.